Welcome to today's lecture. So this is lecture 6 and this is ICT, and we're looking at the high level languages, and then apart from the high level languages, today we'll also discuss the functions of operating systems. So we'll start with the high level languages because that's the only language that we left out in the previous slide. Let's quickly look at this. What is this language? What does it involve? Alright, so these are just referred as oriented languages. They are referred as problem-oriented languages, and then they are also known as the third generation languages. So when you look at these languages, they are quite more advanced, that's what I can say, because even just the way you use them is quite different from the previous two languages that we earlier on discussed. So these, at least, you will not need to write those binary numbers for you to enter something, or to when you're coding, in short, when you're making a program. For these ones, it's something that is straightforward. They use just normal English words. They just use normal English words, the same words that we even know, same words that we even use in our daily language, English language. Okay, so they are referred as third generation languages, and then the advantages of these high level languages are as follows. So the first one, you discover that these high-level languages are convenient for writing programs as they are written without any codes. So this is what I was just telling you, to say these are convenient for writing programs because you don't need any code for you to write these. They just use they just follow the rules like English language because of their English-like nature. Less time is required to write these programs. So because when writing this program, you just follow the normal English languages that we know, English words that we know, less time will be required for you to actually write a program. So when you're writing a program, the previous two codes that we discussed, we said they are computer or they are machine dependent, but this one is a machine independent. It's very much independent of the machine, meaning it depends on the language, the English language that you know. So it's one of the simplest languages that you can use to write a program, and because of this, it's very easy for you to write a program, and it will take less time to write and finish a program. Alright, so we can also talk about these languages to be machine independent. This is what I just talked about. They're machine independent. Then a program written in a high level language can be run on computers of different types without any modifications. So because the language that is normally used for these types of for this type of language, the words that are used are common words which can be found in any computer, so, or which can be found in any dictionary. So what happens is that whenever you use a computer, whenever you use codes to write, whenever you use codes to write a program, there are certain computers that do not understand certain codes, and hence you have to do some modifications for that program to run on that computer. But in this case, if you are using the HLL, which is the high level language, it is very much possible for you to run a program that was made on a different computer on another computer using without making any modifications to that program. Alright, so these are some of the advantages that you need to know. These are the advantages that you need to know and master. Then apart from that, we have several high-level languages which are common in use. So we have the Fortran, we have the Cabal, we have Basics, and then we have prologue and algorithms. So you can, if you want, you can use the Fortran, which is just a formula translation. This is one of a high level language that can be used to write a program. And then apart from that, there is also what is known as the basic. Yeah, first let's talk about the COBOL. So this one is common business oriented language. Yeah, so this one is basically used to write business programs. And then there's also the basic beginners all purpose symbolic instruction code. It's also a language that is used to write programs. We also have the prologue, which is the programming in logic. Yeah, it's also one of the languages, one of the simplest languages. Then we also have the algo. This one involves algorithmic language. Yeah, so this one is straightforward as well and very simple. Okay, if we're going to have a part where we need to code or to start writing programs as we proceed with the lectures, I'll show you how to use all these languages. Yeah, and we'll also make a simple program maybe just to help us understand. Alright, so let's look at the application. Let's look at the types of programs as we started earlier. So look at the utility program. So these are just pre-written programs applied by the manufacturer for maintaining day-to-day activities of a computer system. So they are actually made by manufacturers to do assist to maintain the day-to-day activities of a computer system. Meaning, these are applications, rather programs like the antivirus, virus scanning softwares, all those programs. Yeah, so those programs are very important in running the day-to-day activities of a computer. Yeah, there's also another utility program, which is the mailing program. Yeah, so these are the examples that I was trying to remember. Okay, so we also have another type of program, which is just an application program. So this kind of a program, so these are user-written programs to do specific jobs, which can be changed to meet individual needs. So these programs are written in different languages, such as the BASIC or C, by using database packages like DBase and Oracle. So examples of such applications which are simply just written programs to do specific jobs. Yeah, so these maybe payroll, billing, railway reservation. So you have a lot of such applications. Application programs. Yeah, so they can easily be changed. They are used. These are programs that we used to assist to meet our needs. In short, yeah, they are also used on a daily basis, depending with how frequent you use your computer and how good you are at using your computer. And then they are mostly written in the language that is easily understand, the basic language. Then apart from that, some of them they like writing such programs using the C programming. So C programming can also be you can also find C programming in you can also use, what is this application? So it's gone. Okay, you can also use code blocks to program such or to make such applications. So, or to write such applications. So if we're going to have time to go through that, I'll show you how to write such programs. Yeah, C is quite simple. There's also C++, there's also C++, there's also Java. All those are languages that you use to write a program. So we're going to discuss those things as we proceed. Okay, so general purpose let's look at the general. Okay, so examples are payroll, billing, and rail reservation. So let's look at the general purpose packages. So the general purpose packages, these are also programs that are developed to suit the needs of the research workers, scientists in different fields. So such general purpose packages are, or examples of such programs are simply just a data analysis program, word processing, spreadsheet, graphics, and databases. So these programs are very important to researchers and scientists, those people who are constantly moving, collecting data and putting them together. These are the programs that they normally use on their computers, like data analysis programs and word processing. And then apart from that, there's also the spreadsheet and graphics and also the database. Alright, so examples, we'll look at them. So we have the examples for data analysis. We have statistical package of social science. There are also microstat, genstat, SAS, all those. And then we have the word processing, the examples of word processing. Okay, first let me just look at this. Okay, yeah, this is what I was talking about. There's word analysis, data analysis, and then there's word processing, spreadsheet, graphics, and database. So these are most of some of the important general purpose packages. Yeah, there are a lot. These are just some of them. Then we also have examples of data analysis. These are the ones that I was mentioning. We also have examples of word processing. We have Word Perfect, WordStat, MS Word, CherryStat, Norton, Editor, all those. Yeah, so they are important. You need to know them, and if anything, find them and learn how to use them. We also have the spreadsheet, where we have the Lotus, QPro, VP Planner. We have Symphony, and then we have MS Excel. And then we also have the graphics. This is where we have Lotus, Storyboard, PowerPoint. Okay, so all these are graphic softwares that are very important to researchers and scientists. And then we also have the databases. These examples are DBase. We have the Foxbase, FoxPro, and Oracle MS Access. So I'm restricting myself not to go, not to cross the boundaries. I'm just looking at whatever that is in your handout. If I wanted, I would have also been including my own notes, but again, that may just waste your time, maybe to study things that are outside your syllabus. Yeah, so I would have been putting things which would have been interesting, but because I don't want to maybe take most of your time studying what will not come on the exam, I'm restricting myself to this. Yeah, so those that would want maybe to advance with computer science, after just writing the exam, you can come through. We start learning together how to make these programs. We can even come up with a program that we can design, and then it even begins to work for the society. Then apart from that, we can also come up with certain codes that we are going to make that would help maybe to that will just help to solve a certain problem in the society. Yeah, so we can do that. I have personally done that before, so we can do it together. Those that will be interested, we can proceed immediately after the exam. Instead of stopping the lessons, we proceed with ICT, and then we see what we can teach each other about code blocks, about Java, C++, using those languages. We even make a program using such languages. It's very interesting. Okay, so let's look at the functions of the operating system. So the operating system, as we earlier discussed, is just a platform where other applications or other programs operate. So it's also a software, and this is where other programs, without it, other programs cannot run on the computer. So it's like a foundation, and it also controls a lot of parts of the computers. It controls the peripheral components of the computer, the output devices, the input devices. It has a lot of work to do in a computer. So let's look at these functions one by one. So the first one is word processing. So the operating system simply used to process the processor management. It helps the processor to run, and it manages the assistance of the processor to different tasks. To different tasks being performed by the computer system. So the processor, the way it's designed, it's just a chip that cannot control itself. So the operating system is the one that is there to manage the processor and allocate it to different tasks being performed by the computer system. So this is what I'm trying to talk about. Then we also have the management of memory. So the computer is also responsible to manage the memory of the processor. The operating system is also important because it manages the memory of the computer. So it manages the allocation of the main memory and other storage areas to the system programs, as well as user programs and data. So it's a very important tool that is able to manage the memory of a computer. Like I said, it is also important because it manages the input and the output devices. So it manages the coordination and assistance of different input and output devices while one or more programs are executed. So as the programs are running, it is there to help now to control the input and output devices. So we have a lot of functions of the operating system. The ones that I'm trying to put on the screen here are the ones that are just in your handout. So I'm not trying to step outside the box, but I'll be trying by all means to step a bit and still come back like I've always been doing. But I'll not completely maybe be going out of the line. So it also manages the files. So file management, it allows all files to be easily changed and modified through the use of text editors or some other file manipulation routines. So it's also important because it manages the files. So the operating system is the one that is responsible to manage the files. So you can easily modify, you can easily change, you can easily delete, copy, paste. You can easily move the files from one location of the disk or location of the storage device into the other because of the operating system. It's very important, and it's very important. And then the other thing is that the operating system is also responsible for the establishment and enforcement of a priority system. This means that it determines and maintains the order in which jobs are to be executed in the computer system. So without the operating system, computers can easily be switching themselves on. Okay, not really that, but let me talk about something that is software dependent. I talked about the hardware because switching on of a computer is dependent on the hardware. So let's look at the software in terms of the operating system. So the operating system is there also to control to control and maintain the order in which the jobs are to be executed in the computer system. So there are certain jobs, or rather there are certain programs that have to run first in the computer before other programs run. So if the order is interrupted, sometimes the computer will even give you to say there's an error. There's always something that is always supposed to be run first. So we have what are called the DLL in the operating system. So those things, if one just misses or if one is deleted, it means that the computer system might not even run, or even just in an application or the program, in a program in short. When that kind of application is missing, it simply, it will simply, the program will simply not run. The system will tell you to say there's something missing in this program, because as it was going through the process, as it was trying to align the jobs in that program, it discovered that there was something that was missing, and hence it will tell you to say something is missing here. There is one part of this program which is missing, hence the program will not run. So unless you install that application, that's when the program will run. So the most important, this is one of the most important functions of the operating system. It determines and maintains the order in which the jobs are to be executed in the computer system. And then the other thing is the interpretation of commands and instructions. So the operating system is also responsible for the interpretation of commands and instructions. So we're going to look at these commands, and I'll make sure that the time I'll be recording the session for commands, I'm going to switch on the on-screen commands, so that if I press D here, you'll be able to see on the screen that D has been pressed somewhere. So it's a very important, the operating system is one of the important softwares that controls the commands and instructions. And then the other thing, which is the last but not the least, the last and not the least, is that it facilitates easy communication between the computer system and the computer operator. So the operating system is there to facilitate the computer system, the communication between the operator and the computer system. So without the operating system, the operator cannot operate the computer. So it's very important, because it will help you to communicate easily with whatever you are seeing on the computer. Alright, so this is the last point actually. So thank you for attending today's lesson. See you next time in the next lesson. My name is Harmtedy. Shalom.